Yeah. 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 Whoa, whoa.
Power plant. Emmerich should be beyond the gate at the northern edge of the facility. We have no idea what he's doing back there. Let's go find out. Too. Roger that.
Where are your friends?
You gonna extract him? doubt about it, boss. That man is your extraction target. Emmerich. The weapon system that disappeared into that cave, and the man who was with it. Emmerich must know something about what's going on. He was transferred to the Soviets' base camp. I've marked it on the map. Make your way to that base.
Talk. Where are your friends? Don't speak. Where are your friends?
Nice find. Analyzing the intel file you picked up. We've got a fix on the target. I've updated your map info. Check it on your iDroid. Emmerich's lab is the building at the north side, with a vault roof. That's the target, Emmerich. He's a scientist, an expert in robotics, bipedal locomotion in particular. We suspect he was involved with Cypher's attack on Mother Base 9 years ago. If he was, then it's all his fault. Boss, Emmerich wants to defect from the east. Bring him back to Mother Base. It's time we got some answers.
Boss, we need to help Emmerich defect from the east. The target is the scientist we knew as Huey. He's a suspect in enabling Cypher's attack on us 9 years ago. Let's see that Emmerich gets his wish, boss. Take him out of Soviet territory and back here to Mother Base. Dr. Emmerich. I can't wait for us to sit down and catch up.
That's an enemy gunship. A single burst from its machine gun could cut a man in half. Tread carefully, boss. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. point their anti-air radar? Let's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost.
ЗКП, понял. Возможно, это вражеское нападение. Всем быть начеку. Конец связи.
Where are your friends?
Extract him.
Это Дмитрий-3. Какого-то металлорудия шло на воздушном шаре. Возможно, на базе лазутчик. Жду указания. Прием! ЗКП, понял. Всем боевым группам проверить окрестности. Избавиться от чужака. Конец связи.
Boss? That giant weapon system that disappeared into the cave? I've heard it was the Kremlin's biggest secret. But to think that doctor has been working on it. And the man with the skull for a face. It's been on my mind since you encountered the skulls during the Honeybee mission. It's really the commander of Cypher Strike Force XOF. Probably the mastermind of the attack 9 years ago. Fighting the Zero parted ways. I'll look into it. You just focus on the mission.
ЗКП, понял. Последующие потери неприемлемы. Держите ухо восток. Конец связи.
Where are those?
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Что происходит? Какого? Эй, в порядке?
You gotta extract him. Soviet soldier. A lot of them came from Central Asia before, but lately they've been using more and more Russians. Simple, really. There's less hesitation to pull the trigger if they're not fighting their own race. Morbid cynicism, but it gets results. That's humanity for you.
Что за... Ау! Какого?
It's no good, boss. Attacking like that won't cut it. Aim somewhere else. Or change to a different weapon.
Подожди! Не стреляй!
Where are your friends? Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Extract him.
Сопротивление огорожен. Прием.
Spit it out.
ЛКП, понял. Оставайтесь на чеку. Конец связи.
Where are your friends?
You destroyed their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, and that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost.
Нас напали. Всем подразделениям. Боевую готовность. Конец связи.
Нет, не делай этого! Talk. Where are the others?
He's coming too. Roger that. Get down. The enemy sniper. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies. That vaulted structure, Emmerich is using it as a lab. Judging from the number of buildings, it's a pretty extravagant facility.
КП-1, кто-то украл наши ресурсы. Нужно захватить противник. Группа заданий. Прием. Это КП, понял. Усилить безопасность и найти нарушителя. Конец связи.
Чего? Ау, в порядке?
Hands up.
Подожди.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. A bipedal weapon system. The same model as the one in the cave? Looks like they're about ready to start deploying it.
Hands up.
Подожди.
On the ground.
Не стреляй.
Speak. Hands up.
Подожди.
Speak.
Не стреляй.
Where are your friends?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Who are you? Snake? It's not you, is it?
Hey! It's just a machine.
Are you
Dr. Emmerich.
Snake? Hey, what gives? Ah! Let me go! No! Give me back my legs!
Right on schedule. Now bring him back to Mother Base. Okay, I'm sending a chopper close by. Get to the LZ with Emmerich.
Hang on a second. Let's use the walker gear I developed to escape. There's a special one here at the lab. Only I can activate it, and I'll tell you how to operate it.
Ignore Emmerich. We don't need his wind-up toys.
It is a long way there. Why don't you use that walker gear of his?
No way. We can't trust him. How do we know his crap will even work?
Well, it's better than carrying the man the whole way. Boss, use the walker gear to escape.
It's your call, boss.
I'll start it up. Get this off me!
Here we go.
They're single pilot machines. I'll...
Whoa! Hey!
I was developing a bipedal weapon for the Soviet Union. It hasn't been deployed yet. I was doing mobility testing. Once the walker gear is finished, they'll have a huge advantage in close combat.
And once they add my masterpiece to the equation, this war the Soviets will win.
He's developing bipedal weapons for the Soviets. If that's the case, what's Cypher's interest in it? Boss, don't forget Emmerich. You need to bring him back with you. Think back. 9 years. It was a ruse. They turned out to be Cypher's strike force. It was Emmerich who brought them there. He's been around ever since, working with Cypher.
I had no idea. I thought the inspection was real. I swear it. If anyone's to blame, it's you, Snake. We should never have had that gear. That's the reason Mother Base was destroyed.
Arriving shortly at LZ.
Cypher threatened to kill me. Made me do research for them here. That's right. creating bipedal weapons. 9 long years, forced to do whatever they said.
Конец связи. Что случилось? Bye.
Boss, don't forget Emmerich. You need to bring him back with you.
Прием! ЛКП, понял. Все подразделения. У нас могут быть нарушители. Конец связи.
Take this bag off, will you?
Всем боевым группам! Это кафе!
After 9 years, I'm finally made. Snake, I thought we were on the same team.
Mayday! Mayday! Cannot maintain altitude! Control's non-responsive! Peak one down! Peak one down!
You shot down the chopper. Already a backup chopper. Call it from your iDroid. It's a heavy machine gun. Packs far more power than any rifle. You can either use it yourself or destroy it. Either way, best keep in mind some way to deal with it. You gotta extract him. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Shortly at LZ. This is Pequod, on station at LZ.
Sahelanthropus? How?
So that's the Metal Gear he built for the Soviets.
Impossible! It can't be active!
Doctor, you're as useless as I thought. This is the real Sahelanthropus. You and your friend will die here. Behold! Today is the day weapons learn to walk upright!
Get out of there, boss. Emmerich extraction comes first. Head for the LZ. choppers touching down. Don't waste any time getting on board. And don't forget Emmerich. Nice work. Keep it up. Gaining altitude. Here it comes. Use the chopper's minigun. Shake them off.
An upright bipedal weapon. In terms of hominids, it's a sahelanthropus. How did they complete it without me?
We'll hear the rest back at base. Mission complete.
Why do you suspect me? What did I do? I'm on your side. What about him? Miller was in contact with Cypher 9 years ago. He was working with them. He's the traitor, Snake! What's that? More truth serum?
No. Stronger truth
Oh,
serum.
please. Please keep me here. I need protection. Ah! Ah! Oh. 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 Why?
You're the odd one out.
Why me?
We all lost something.
What?
Except you.
Don't.
truth serum isn't working. Either some procedure he had done boosted his metabolic enzymes, or he's undergone special gene therapy.
What's he saying?
Same as 6 hours ago. I had no idea the nuclear inspection 9 years ago was a ruse. Cypher forced me to do that research after the attack.
Do you think he had a hand in it?
I do. But there's no proof yet. Take a listen to this later.
We need proof before we can pass judgment. Keep an eye on him. And don't tell anyone he's here.
We'll have him continue his research in there. It's for his own good. The older guys will want his head. We can't guarantee his safety if we let him out.
Boss.
He mentioned something interesting. The reason why they pulled their plug on the operation in Afghanistan. He said their funding started going to Central Africa instead. Cypher is pursuing new research in Africa.
Africa? What research?
Emmerich doesn't know the details, but one thing he said does make sense. That Sahelanthropus alone isn't enough to cause an RMA. He claims that what they're doing in Africa is the missing piece. A weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
Meaning it's not just another nuke.
Good. You captured it alive.
Boss, there's no doubt about it. Cypher's working on something in Central Africa. There's evidence they've been in contact with private forces operating in the region. We follow that evidence. We should learn what Cypher is after. Diamond Dogs has gotten a lot bigger. Now's the time to take the offensive. Head back to the ACC for your next mission.
It was...
When Quiet first came here, she demonstrated her marksmanship against that enemy fighter plane. Quiet is still in her cell. Only a few staff are authorized to go.
It wasn't just Cypher. Back in the Caribbean, every eye in the world was turned on us. A private army, just a bunch of guys with guns, in possession of a nuke? Why wouldn't they be uncomfortable?
And that's why you made sure the inspection happened.
Well, I thought our best move was to prove to the UN through the IAEA that we had no nuke. Of course, I was against us having it in the first place, but that was Snake's decision.
The boss wasn't responsible.
Well, don't get me wrong, I still believed in Snake. I thought I was making the best decision for all of us, that's all. I figured we should get a third party to exonerate us before proof of the nuke did get out. And who better to do that than an organization with international authority?
So the truth is, you took it upon yourself to agree to an inspection arranged by the UN. Only the inspection was a ruse, and Cypher's strike force, XOF, showed up instead.
I had no idea that would happen.
Enough bullshit!
Oh, sure, like I could have known. You know, I was just trying to prove our innocence to the world. What's wrong with that?
We're not interested in the excuses you thought up. The truth is objective.
Just see it from my point of view.
You led XOF to the control tower. They seized it, giving them complete control over the base. Moments later, they detonated C4 on the strut legs. Anyone who'd managed to survive was hunted down by the assault force and their choppers.
You can't believe I did that on purpose.
That was the end of Mother Base. But it wasn't the end for you.
How can you... Look, think about it. I lost something too. I built Zeke and it got buried underwater. I am a victim.
That raises the big questions. Why were you the only one spared? You got away without a scratch. Why did Strangelove leave the base on the eve of the inspection? You two were close.
Strangelove?
And how did you manage to build something that surpasses Zeke in every way? Because you did everything they told you. You're the only one who didn't lose a thing. That is the truth.
I was taken away against my will. Skullface forced me to do his research these past 9 years. He used me. I lost 9 years.
9 years? We all lost 9 years. It wasn't just you.
I suppose blaming me makes you feel better, does it? But who's gonna give me back all the time I lost?
You're not getting anything back. You're not a victim here, Emmerich. You're the perpetrator.
I didn't know anything.
Nobody can back that up. Yeah, all the evidence is at the bottom of the ocean. You know the hardest man to break. The type who's fooling himself. That takes time. It's easier to live a convenient lie than a painful truth. Is that the peace you've chosen, Doc?
I'm not lying.
Of course. Just let me check one or two things. On that day, you were in the control tower with them. Lucky you. That's how you got out unscathed. And you escaped on one of their choppers. Only you, right before the base went under.
They had me blindfolded the whole time. I've never been so scared. The whole flight, I thought they'd kill me. But thinking of you kept me going. My comrades, all the way.
And?
There was a plane journey, and then we traveled by road. When they finally took off the blindfold, I was in kind of a warehouse, on the floor. Afghanistan, it was that research lab. I couldn't believe they'd taken me halfway around the world. And soon enough, he came.
Skullface.
He's the one who's really behind that Mother Base attack. He forced me into that research.
What kind of research?
He told me to build a bipedal walking tank for the Soviet Union. Like Peace Walker. A system that could fire an ICBM-class nuclear weapon. That's how the Sahelanthropus project got started.
Sahelanthropus.
Those AI weapons I made in Costa Rica were like toys by comparison.
A whole world apart from reptilian four-legged crawling and that ridiculous hunched-over bipedal waddling. My design evolved to the dawn of mankind. Sahelanthropus, the first steps towards humanity. An upright bipedal weapon system. Originally, Sahelanthropus was going to be a manned weapons platform. I designed a cockpit in its head, and I planned to fill it with water as a buffering agent.
Like how Paz modified Zeke for human control.
Don't compare me to some amateur. I designed it for human control from the beginning. The problem was miniaturizing the posture control AI. You remember the reptile pod?
The AI that controlled your unmanned weapons.
Attaching it externally makes it vulnerable, so this time I wanted it beneath the armor. Meaning I had to make the AI smaller. I got it down to less than 1/10 the size without any loss in computation speed. But it was still too big for the cockpit. There wasn't enough room for the pilot. If I made the head bigger, its body would have to be bigger to support it. Too big to be practical. In the end, human piloting was taken off the table. I tested a remote control system too, but there was the time lag and I wasn't satisfied with its precision either. Plus, it would be useless if the enemy jammed it. So next, I went back to trying an AI-only system. To do that, I had the AI pods recovered from Nicaragua. This was a hybrid AI, a combination of Peace Walker's reptile and mammal pods. The only AIs that had ever successfully operated an unmanned nuclear weapons system.
Really? You'd need some help to get that working. Expert help. Did you work with someone?
I worked alone.
You did that yourself?
That's the thing. The AI didn't pan out in the end either. But I did finally get Sahelanthropus walking by folding over its upper body to lower its center of gravity. The first upright bipedal locomotive weapon system in the history of mankind. I guess technically it falls into the anthropoid ape category.
I don't see the benefit of having it stand taller.
On terrain with significant differences in elevation like Afghanistan, you need a body that's vertically adaptable. That also lets it attack from long range while using mountain ridges for cover. So, making it walk upright was the most important factor in giving it superior height capability. As the name suggests, that was the whole point of Sahelanthropus. But I was being pushed for results. Having the AI mounted externally would have been the fastest way to get it working. I just needed more data so it could maintain its balance. But Skullface refused to wait. He dismissed the idea of AI control and took Sahelanthropus away from me before I could finish it.
But it was walking when it came after you.
That's just it. I don't understand how Skullface got it to move upright, without a pilot or an AI. And walking at that speed, too. It's beyond anything I could have imagined. This is like the Wright brothers making it to the moon. I'm just as clueless as you are.
So this Sahelanthropus, where is it now?
I have no idea. All my experiments took place at that cave. I've never seen it anywhere else. Besides, it's still just an incomplete prototype at this point, and nothing but a paper tiger. Even if it can walk, it's far from being a viable weapons platform.
Roger.
It wouldn't be useful in actual battle.
Emmerich will remain here at Mother Base for now, but not as a member of Diamond Dogs. I still don't trust him. That work for you? Fine by me. He can't be allowed any contact with staff either. Yeah, a lot of the guys would love some payback for 9 years ago. We still need him alive. But we have to restrict his movements. He can only go where we tell him. And of course, the interrogation... He worked for that skull bastard for nearly... How long are we gonna press him? If our investigation shows he really had nothing, we'll reconsider his place here. But I don't expect that to happen. That water tank-shaped object in Emmerich's lab in the Soviet base camp. The thing that started talking to you like a possessed answering machine. That was a pot. You remember, back in '74 in Costa Rica. It was in those machines you fought there. They were designated Pupa, Chrysalis, Cocoon, and Basilisk. And each of them was fitted with an AI unit called a reptile pod. Emmerich created it. It mainly handled the machine's posture control and autonomous behavior. But the Basilisk, aka Peace Walker, also featured a second AI pod. That one was called the Mammal Pod, and it was created by Dr. Strangelove. She tried to recreate the boss's personality through the Mammal Pod, but you pulled out its memory boards. That's when it transferred its own functions to its reptile pod. Just like a human brain compensating for damage by using the remaining healthy parts. The result was a unique entity, a hybrid of the reptile and the mammal. It sank to the bottom of Lake Nicaragua with Peace Walker. But apparently they salvaged it and transported it to that lab. Don't let it deceive you, Snake. It may sound like the boss, but it has neither a personality nor a will. Like Emmerich says, it's just a machine.
When Quiet first came here, she demonstrated her marksmanship against that enemy fighter plane. It showed she was much more than your everyday crack shot. Hitting a moving target from 600 meters is a challenge, but it's possible with the right training and equipment. But shooting down that missile, that's a world apart from taking out a soldier on patrol. The chopper and the missile were in motion, meaning different vectors at high velocity in three-dimensional space, and she shot an unguided bullet that had to fight air resistance and gravity. All that while the chopper was taking evasive maneuvers. Some of the best target leading I've ever known. She has a superhuman sense of spatial awareness. You put her in a fighter jet, and she'd be an ace right off the bat. Hell, your judgment was top class too. Realizing she could take out that pilot, that's quick thinking. You and Quiet could make a hell of a team. You'd be damn near unstoppable. Quiet is still in her cell. Only a few staff are authorized to go near her. She hasn't tried anything funny, but that's what bothers me most. In particular, what does she have to gain by coming to Mother Base? I first thought she was under orders from Cypher to take you out. She didn't manage it in Afghanistan, so round 2 happens here. So I lighten the guard. And that lock on her door is a joke. You gave her an opening. And? Well, she hasn't killed you yet. And I hate to say it, but she's had plenty of chances. You made me the bait. Poisonous bait. What better? Anyway, she didn't bite. Quiet is keeping her silence. So I'm left with no idea again what she's doing here. We tried communicating with her through writing. That didn't work either. Whether she's illiterate, dyslexic, or just plain stubborn, she won't cooperate. I just don't get it. If she tried to contact the outside, it'd be picked up by our counterintelligence net, but it's clean. There's no sign she's had contact with the staff, base facilities, nothing. She's almost got the men wanting her to try something, just to find out what she's up to. And she's in there putting on the failed soldier look, all downcast eyes and defeated sighs. But she doesn't kill herself. She can't be trying to leave Cypher and surrender to us.
So what's the verdict?
This may sound optimistic, but here's how I see it. Quiet came here to fulfill some objective. To kill you, maybe to destroy Diamond Dogs. Whatever it was, before she could do it, something changed her mind. Yes. When I look at her, I sense hesitation.
You think she'd betray Cypher?
Can't say for sure. I prefer the ones that talk. Anyway, we'll keep her under watch. And we're also looking into those special abilities of hers. You'll be the first to know if something comes up. Why not look in on her yourself once in a while?
Right.
always so kind to me, Snake. You will come back, right?
Roger. This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. On station at LZ!
What's up, boss? That boss.
Roger. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude. Boss, I've been meaning to tell you something. Our old friend Zero hasn't been seen in public since you left the States. That was over 10 years ago now. You suspected he was responsible for the accident at your base in the Caribbean. But at that point, Zero was already bedridden. So it never felt right to me that Zero gave the order. Now that I've seen the man Emmerich was working for, I'm sure he didn't. I know that man. He was our old friend's XO. A man without a face. Not one you want to look at anyway. Skullface. He's the one who destroyed your base 9 years ago. The unit he commands, XOF, was Cypher's strike force, but he's since split from Zero and used XOF to usurp control over Cypher itself. In other words, the Cypher we're hunting isn't Zero. Beyond Zero is a void that's even darker. Skullface.
Welcome home, boss.
Roger.
Didi, stay. Didi. Fully trained and ready for action. The rest is up to you. Didi, go! He's going with you.
Let me explain what D-Dog can do as your buddy. With that nose of his, he can sniff out and mark nearby enemies and prisoners. Should come in handy for infiltrating outposts. I trained him to detect mines and medicinal plants, too. When he locates something, check your map. target is Angola's Mfinda oil field, upstream from the landing point. A spill has covered the whole area and crude. A pipeline that crosses the Muneni River failed, and now the shore's a mess. Not to mention the villages downstream have no drinking water. The oil runs to the pipeline from that facility. Taking it out should end the leak. The client this time is an environmental NGO. Destroy the facility. Stop that leak. This may seem like straight-up philanthropy, but there's another reason we agreed to it. The Mfinda oil field was outdated, abandoned. Then the rebel group UNITA moved in, taking it upon themselves to kickstart operations. UNITA's been rapidly modernizing its arsenal. Rumor has it someone's been selling them U.S. military hardware. Intel's analysis suggests the broker's a front company, Cyphers. Keeping tabs on UNITA could tell us who's pulling its strings. First, make your way to the oil facility. It's to the north, past Wala Yamasa. The village is currently occupied by UNITA, so stay sharp. Taken a pretty crooked course these past 9 years. With no other options, soldiers have become dogs of war, sent to conflict zones as private forces, or PFs. Guys we fought alongside are dying all around the globe for no reason, no banner. But it's how they survive. The demand for PFs here in Africa is especially high. Cold War standoffs, resource exploitation, tribal clashes. What's big business for developed countries has only brought conflict here. That mess you're standing in is just the latest example.
That's digitalis. It's toxic, but it can also be used as medicine.
You've arrived at Masa Village. It's been turned into a supply hub for UNITA, meaning it'll be stocked with weapons and resources. Should be a thing or two that'll come in handy. Don't be shy. They deserve to be in better hands.
Though they're members of UNITA, those locals have been hired by CFA, the South African PF, and they're communicating through Afrikaans, an official language of the country. We'll need someone with the Afrikaans interpreter skill to understand what they're saying.
Coming too. Roger that.
Север из Delta 6. Delta спасмент баллон weggeplekt. Waarschijnlijk... Delta 6, wat voor? Kom in, Delta 6! Deze situatie, alleen hier, stand bij.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Delta 4. Geen teken van die vijand. Ons staakje zoekt nog. Oor. Er is CP, begrijp. Moet niet verslapt nie.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Dit is Delta 2. Die hulpbronnen hier is gesteel. Ons heeft waarschijnlijk een droog. Geen instructie. Er is CP, begrijp. Alles kies van een bespied van Gillen. Gooi die eruit! CP, dat is Delta 1. Hulpbronnen is weg. Dat is moeilijke inbreken. Moet ik onderzoeken. Goed. Er is CP, begrijp. Verder verlies is onuitwaarbaar. Van jullie oorlog uit.
You've made it past the village. Continue heading for the oil facility. It's located upriver. they can throughout that region. And when the oil dries up, they abandon the facility. Then it's only a matter of time before the aging equipment starts leaking crude. That means Unita's takeover is the perfect cover for Saner. Now they can blame the spill on a bunch of oil thieves. However you look at it, Saner's far from squeaky clean.
Snake! Talk to me! Snake!
Boss, destroy the oil facility and stop the flow of oil. You've got a straight path to the objective. You should find it no problem. The Finda oil field is the property of Saner, South African Natural Resources. Saner drills oil wells wherever they can throughout that region. And when the oil dries up, they abandon the facility. Then it's only a matter of time before the aging equipment starts leaking crude. That means Unita's takeover is the perfect cover for Saner. Now they can blame the spill on a bunch of oil thieves. However you look at it, Saner's far from squeaky clean. That's one of the targets, the oil transfer pump. We don't have a precise location. You'll have to search for it on-site. The relay station from Finda oil field. The relay station from Finda oil field. They've cranked up the old machinery despite it being much too decrepit to run. That led to the oil spill, which is contaminating the river. To stop the spill, we need to shut down the oil transfer pump and destroy the oily water separator tank. That's one of the targets, the oily water separator tank. It filters impurities from the oil, making it the backbone of the whole facility. Destroy this, and I'll have no way to start the facility up again. It's built pretty tough, so you'll need explosives to take it out. However, the tank is highly pressurized. There'll be quite a bang when it goes up. Make sure you keep your distance.
domesticated, you'll have a hard time riding it. That used to be a settlement, but now it's burned to the ground.
This contract comes out of Angola. That's right, Central Africa, where Emmerich claimed they were working on a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. There's been a massive oil spill from Mafinda oil field. It's flowing into the river and contaminating the water supply. An environmental NGO has asked us to stop the spill by destroying the facility. Environmental activism isn't exactly our line of work, but it's not that simple either. The group operating the oil facility and causing the spill is the rebel group UNITA. And word has it that UNITA is getting supplied with U.S. military weapons. That sounds to me like Cypher's pulling their strings. Boss, it's time to give Cypher a little surprise.
Stop the leak. You need to shut down the oil transfer pump and destroy the oily water separator tank. The details are on your iDroid. Sound of rainfall should help to mask your footsteps.
Afrikaans en Indiërs in die onderskei. Wat nog van non-Afrikaners?
Hoekom maak hulle mekaar so erg?
Dit gaan terug na koloniale dae. Hulle was aansienlik minder verdeel. Die regering het die boete so gekry. En hulle was die minderheid. Dit het hulle net verder gedryf.
Sal seker nooit verander nie. Net wat hulle.
Wat dink daaroor? Die handigheid van ons checks betaal. Hey, jy wil maak met 'n nuwe soldaat. Jy moet 'n bietjie jou omgewing ken. Dankie vir die tip. Hæ? Wat wees? Bly veilig.
Destroy that separator tank. All right, you planted the C4. Don't set it off until you're at a safe distance. Once it goes up, the enemy will come running. Secure the area before you detonate the C4.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Hey! You okay?
You gonna extract him? There's the transfer pump control room. Bodies. Why? Oil transfer pump shutoff confirmed. Next, destroy the oily water separator tank. That'll ensure they can never use the facility again. Separator tank. Objectives complete. Though security will be tighter after that explosion. Get out of there ASAP.
GPS Lucieva. Tekens van vijandige activiteit. Gescan securiteit. Oor. Dat is CFTF, begrijp. Kijk eens naar enige iets vandaag. Uit.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Walker gears. What are they doing there? He's coming too. Roger that.
GPS is hier. Opkomen is weg. Dat is moeilijke inblikken. Moet ik onderzoeken. Goed. Tijd heeft punt die indrunger. Uit.
Extract him. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Reading.
Roger that. All right, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete. Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional. Boss, we took another look into Saner, the owner of the oil field. They were behind what happened. They hired the PF, not United. They restarted the facility all the while pretending they were the victims. One other thing. Saner's Johannesburg head office is just a room in a multi-tenant building. Company's essentially non-existent. 3 years ago, that investment fund stepped in and started gutting it through a series of mergers and sell-offs. And get this, the fund itself no longer exists either. It's a shell corporation, meaning someone is just using Saner's name from the shadows. But what about those strange corpses? Just what the hell were they doing over there? Hey! Snake! I've customized a walker gear just for you. It features a silent running system, great for infiltration missions, and you can also summon it to your location. I've taken the liberty of calling it the D-Walker. It's armed with a suppressed tranquilizer gun. If you want to add other weaponry or upgrade the chassis, give the order from your iDroid.
Good. You captured it alive. I've updated the mission list. We received a new job offer. It doesn't seem connected to Cypher or Skullface at all, but if it goes well, we may get an Afrikaans interpreter. The details are on your iDroid.
DD makes a pretty good partner, huh, boss?
Too early to say.
Yeah? Just seeing him come back makes me real proud.
What breed is he? He's not a husky.
You're right. Siberian Husky is a cross between a Spitz-type dog and a wolf. I think DD might have some wolf blood in him, too. He isn't just smart. He's also shown remarkable judgment. If he doesn't do what you want him to, he's just doing what he thinks is right in the situation. And he's steady under fire. Remember, he's no lapdog. But learn his strengths, and you'll understand each other soon enough. You'll make one hell of a team.
Ocelot. Why'd you take it upon yourself to train him?
Huh? Why?
Yeah. When's the last time you heard a wildcat raising a dog?
I have an eye for him. I knew at first glance he'd make the right partner for you.
Huh.
And I figured it was about time he got out into the world.
So you passed him off on me.
There, you see? I knew you liked him.
I don't know about that yet. I still think he's trying to figure me out, too.
I'll spend some more time with him. You'll see how helpful he can be.
What about you?
I prefer to work alone.
Ocelots don't hunt in packs.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I'm glad you like him. Edie's really taken to you, too. And to going on your walks. Don't be shy about taking him with you in the future.
I'll think about it.
You call that thing Sahelanthropus. Where does the name come from?
Well, several years ago, an excavation team discovered a hominid skull in the Sahel region.
Central Africa. The Southern Sahara.
Cypher gave the specimen the name Sahelanthropus, Man of Sahel. And then they covered the whole thing up.
Why?
They probably wanted to monopolize information about human evolution to have a head start in their genetic research. At least, until they had an idea of what they'd found.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Sahelanthropus was a gracile hominid, estimated to have lived about 7 million years ago. What's significant about it is how its skull's foramen magnum faces down. In other words, its spinal column supported its head from underneath.
It stood upright.
Right. Which would mean Sahelanthropus walked upright 3 million years before Australopithecus, making it the world's oldest human species.
Walking upright. I get it. Hence the name Sahelanthropus for your machine.
Walking upright was the decisive difference between our ancestors and other anthropoids. Our brains could get heavier once they were supported by the spinal column. That led to the use of tools and the development of complex communication.
A portable toilet. If you're gonna hide inside, watch the enemy doesn't decide to use it. Same goes for hiding downed enemies in it.
Weapon platforms.
And you did this for Cypher?
No, not at all.
You destroyed their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, but that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost.
An army without a nation. Outside the world order.
The design was based on Pangaea, the supercontinent that existed 250 million years ago, right?
Yeah. When the world was a single landmass. That concept's at the source of our strength.
I felt the same way about Sahelanthropus. Sure, I was forced to build it under their orders, but I always wanted to put its technology back in our hands someday. That's the reason I incorporated the old insignia into Sahelanthropus' name. Don't you see? That's how much I was thinking about you guys.
Oh, I see, all right. I see someone desperate to cover his ass. You can say whatever you want after the fact. But that skull also symbolizes somebody else. Skullface.
Snake, you finally came. Just don't record this, okay?
I'm not recording anything. What's this about?
What I'm about to say stays between you and me. It's about the weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Do you know a researcher by the name of Clark? He works in the biotech industry, real advanced stuff. His area is bioengineering, but lately he's also gotten into genetic research.
Never heard of him.
Well then, what do you know about cloning?
I think I've heard enough.
Hold on.
That's the target.
Cloning lets you create a genetic copy of an organism. You take the nucleus of one of its cells, and you swap it with the nucleus of an unfertilized egg from another member of the same species. They started out working with plants, but since then they've had success with other organisms, including mammals. It's a hot area for a lot of places right now. Corporations, universities, research groups. There's no shortage of scientists out to get famous and patent their work with morality.
You gotta extract him.
Isn't that a little outside your field?
Okay, subject is in.
But I thought it might be of interest to you. Cloning.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Now, this is really highly classified stuff. But I've heard that an American biotech company has successfully cloned a human.
You gotta extract him.
What's more, it happened over 10 years ago. And the researcher behind it was Dr. Clark. You've really never heard of him?
I don't meet many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field. His age, where he comes from, that might not be his real name.
Roger.
And I can't even say for sure he's a he. Clark's employer, ATGC, its company motto is embracing your hopes, preserving talent.
What does this have to do with me?
Cypher. Dr. Clark works for ATGC, and they have connections to DARPA. Cypher couldn't function without the communications network DARPA's built. Meaning, Cypher has to be a part of the Pentagon. Or at least, the two are joined at the hip. DARPA is a driving force behind human cloning. It's a pretty high priority project for them. And this Dr. Clark, some say he's a pivotal player in Cypher. But that's not all. Every cell nucleus in an organism contains the genetic information for that organism. Think of it as a blueprint for life. Clark appears to be working on how to decode this information and rearrange it at will. If you could do that, it would mean being able to custom design human beings for specific purposes. Can you believe that? Suppose for a moment that this is all fact. A man of your talents, if your genetic information died with you, that would be a terrible loss for mankind. But what if mankind could preserve you for future generations by cloning you?
All right, enough. I get the idea.
Look, I know it's inductive reasoning, but this weapon to surpass Metal Gear they're developing in Africa, I believe it's something that uses this new technology. Speaking as a fellow scientist, it chills me to the bone.
That's rich coming from you.
If genes serve as our blueprint, then I wonder if they include an impulse that drives us to tweak the design. Can you imagine that? Genes, encoded with information that wants its children to decode it. Is life itself putting the direction of our next evolution in the hands of scientists? I guess it would take some real arrogance to believe that. And yet, it could be what Cypher's after.
I think you're barking up the wrong tree. But that was an interesting story. It'd make a good movie.
You have to believe me.
Where'd you hear all this anyway?
Where? I just overheard it in bits and pieces while I was forced to do that research for them.
Right.
Wait a minute. Look, I want to help you. I want to be of service here. I'm risking my life with this.
Is that so? Maybe it's time we brought someone else into the conversation.
No, not him. Not Ocelot. You can't do this.